I'm feeling kind of clammy. I'm feeling kind of weird. I was standing in my kitchen and I started thinking about that I should be recording. And then I started thinking, well, I've got nothing to record about. And then I started thinking about all the things that I could record about. And then I was thinking about how that was making me think about how special I could be if I recorded something. So I had this like back and forth battle in my brain, and I eventually decided to just come in here, grab the handpan, because that's what I like to do to kind of stress out or let the stress out. And I'm kind of doing that thing where I'm practicing, just connecting with something and spitting out up my mouth whatever is coming to my brain anyway. So I figured I might as well just let my brain have at it. That's what I've been doing lately. Plus, we can always listen to the music until I don't have something to say. I want to try and go all over just explore all the notes this time. I gotta slow down though. That's one of the other cool things about the handpan. Is depending on like how gentle you are with it, it just sounds different, Like if you hit it hard, it kind of has that tinny. And there really is sort of like an art to kind of letting your fingers glide, kind of. Is the audio recording? Am I recording? Yeah. I guess that's with everything though, is that you sort of like learn your own styles. I keep thinking of things that I want to talk about, but then I don't know, my mind's going off in like a bunch of different directions today. I kind of experienced that. I've always sort of been like, I want to say that I've been practicing lately on sort of, I guess the best way I can describe it is taking a different perspective of myself sometimes, or of my mind and my thoughts. Do you ever kind of look in the mirror? This happens when I got out of the shower today, and it happens all the time. I'm just gonna try and articulate it. Do you ever like get out of the shower and look in the mirror and you just kind of feel like, it's almost like for a split second, you're not looking at you, or you're looking like you recognize it, but you almost don't, It's always just a moment. So all these things are always, for me anyways, it's these moments. But I'm learning that if I catch those moments, they kind of last a little bit longer. I don't know, today this is gonna make me sound a little weird, but I was able to sort of like keep that moment going. It sounds like kind of a scary feeling to like have this other perspective of almost like you're just like looking at yourself. But you have to like, the feeling I get anyways is it's like you're looking at your son or something. It's like you're looking at your child. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I practice. Maybe it's because I practice talking positively. I swear I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I am even really that positive of a person. People tell me I'm like kind of a positive person. Look, I'm messing up on the handpan because I'm starting to get nervous about what I'm saying. All right, we're going to stop that. We're not going to go into that. I think what happened right there is I was trying too hard to, I don't know, I was trying to manufacture whatever I was about to say. It's already kind of left my memory again, so I'm going to take a little break. Have I even been looking at the camera? I feel like I kind of been looking down at the handpan the whole time. Ooh, I'm not wearing a hoodie. I've just discovered that for the first time. All right, let's dive back in and see if we can find a sound again. Oh yeah, I did say I wanted to kind of explore the whole thing. Let's just play for a minute again. I find myself like worrying about how the video is going to turn out. It's one of my little things. It's one of the negative thoughts, or however you want to look at it. It's one of the thoughts that creeps into my head every time I'm making videos, to be honest with you. And it's those sort of things that I'm trying to, at least in my life, I'm just trying to find them, identify them. And in the past, I'd say that I was trying to like eliminate them, almost like I was at war with these little tendencies that my brain had. But I don't know. As I get older, I'm sort of learning that it's not necessarily. Kind of like that feeling you get when you look at in that moment when you kind of don't recognize yourself, when you see yourself in the mirror, and that feeling of love, that feeling of kind of like, I don't know, that fatherly love feeling. That's just the way I feel. Kind of silly saying that, but that's the way that I feel, that I can describe it. It's kind of like, oh. Where was I going with that? I think I just got sidetracked into talking about that feeling of not recognizing yourself in the mirror. That's okay. I like talking about that too. It's kind of weird because it can also be like a negative thing, looking at that feeling of like, oh, that little boy. I struggle with that in that same way, I'm getting older. I'm 40 years old. Can you believe it? I can barely believe it. And I just feel like, oops. It's okay, we'll play with this note. And it's almost like I've just been I feel like everything I'm just discovering like a week ago. That's how life is feeling. Now that I'm in my 40s, if I can describe it anyway. It's just like, it feels like everything just happened, and also happened so long ago. Maybe that's just my memory kind of going away. But anyways, that feeling of that, like, oh, that little boy that you see in the mirror. It's always sort of made me feel like inadequate too, I've recently discovered it makes me that same like feeling, that same, I don't know, that same like feeling childlike that I attribute to like my creativity and all these things that I find to be positive things in my life. That same thing though also makes me compare myself to people that I look up to, and ask myself constantly like, why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? Why aren't you different? Why aren't you, I don't know. But I don't think that what I'm learning to do is not to try to control the narrative of those feelings or any of that stuff. I used to try and be, or I still am, the type of person that always wants to control everything, And it's taken me my whole life to realize that even like all of the practice that I've been doing on trying to let go of control, I catch myself these days it's just sneaky little tricks that I play on myself. Might have to stop here soon. I hear the door opening, and sometimes that's the cue. Oh, I hit that bang kind of weird. Did I make any sense? every time I make these handpan videos, or the last few times I've been making them, I always like, the other thing I've been practicing lately is just like, I've been practicing only picking up the camera and recording and doing anything, whether it be a project, mushroom project, like one of the terrariums that I built the other day, or the terrarium that I built the other day. Regardless of what it is, I've been trying my best to just like, to only do things when I'm really feeling, inspired and called to do it. And I've been trying to catch myself wanting to feel special all the time. Because I do that a lot too. I think, especially now that I'm like, one of the tricks that I've been playing on myself is, especially now that I've been kind of taking this more natural approach to like recording videos and, doing some different things on the channel, I've been catching myself saying like, that would make you look a little smarter, Ryan. That would make you look a little less like that little boy that you that you saw in the mirror. Does that sound like you? I wish I knew that. It's almost like sometimes I wonder if really the only, what am I trying to say here? I think what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to do it with the music. See that? See how I was trying to feel special there? I think what I'm trying to say is that if I could get one thing out of life, I wish it was just that I could know. I feel so weird saying it because I'm trying to articulate what I'm saying, but I'm trying to say is I wish I could see myself through someone else's eyes. But it feels so silly saying that because you sort of have this knowing that that's exactly what's happening. And I think we all kind of have that like knowing inside of us. I think that's what everyone's talking about when they're talking about like, what I was thinking about today before I, not to sidetrack what I was just about to say. Who's this they that we're always talking about? Everyone's always saying they said this and they said that. I'm going to try and switch over to this note. Who is that they though? Is the they in this note? They aren't playing well with all the other notes. If they are living in this one right here. This note right here is probably my least favorite on the pen. I don't know. It's kind of my least favorite, but it's also because it just doesn't fit in. Like it always kind of like abruptly stops things, or it makes me feel like I hit a wrong note or something. But it's kind of one of those ones that rarely, when you do hit it perfectly, it just kind of like feels so good when you get it in. What's that called? My daughter's always talking about things being like satisfying, and it's one of those like satisfying moments. It's another one of those moments I was talking about. Everything's about moments, isn't it? I'm not going to say that like, life is all about the present moment and being in the moment, because it is. I mean, everyone knows that. That's one of those knowings. That's one of those like deep down things that we all know is true. Is that, the moment is the only real thing. And we're basically like spending our lives trying to discover what we mean by feeling that. But the magic is in the moments, is what I was trying to say earlier. There's so many like magical little moments, magical little things that happen if you pay attention to them. Or actually, you know what? It's not if you pay attention to them, it's if you don't pay attention to them. If you don't look for them, is, at least in my experiences, when they kind of, that's when you see it. It's like a shooting star. You just kind of see it out of the corner of your eye, and as soon as you try and focus on it, it disappears and it's gone. And you ask yourself, like, did I just see that? And you did. But it's just one of those things that's special to you. You can't share it. You can't really. Nobody cares, and that's okay. Just spit on my handpan a little bit when I said cares. I think. I'm wondering why I'm trying to find the moment when it happened. See right there? It's kind of. It always kind of screws it up a little bit. That can't be the end. That was a terrible ending. Gotta somehow. I guess we gotta jump back in somehow. That just. Usually I feel the ending. What I'm really trying to do here is that I'm finding that I'm repeating all the same sounds. It's hard to kind of, because I'm learning to find like my vibe on this thing. But I'm also learning that like by finding your vibe, you get sort of like addicted to the same sounds and your fingers just start to. It's cool because they'll automatically do things and they'll automatically play these like things that you can, arrange into something that sounds cohesive. But in the same way, to me anyways, it sounds repetitive. And I'm trying to actually be okay with that too. You know what I really like though? I really like just kind of like tickling these high notes. Mostly because I can say I'm tickling the old pan. That's the best part about having a handpan, is talking about tickling it. Maybe I'll try and do something different in the middle. It's hard to. This is my experimental stuff. Nah, I'm just tickling. Basically, I'm just trying to impress you a little bit, so I can end this thing on a high note. You know what? That's another thing I've been really trying to teach myself. Is when to sort of drop the mic, the mic. Did I say that word? But when it's time to just stop talking. I'm also trying to identify if that's just, another negative belief. And I can kind of feel myself getting pulled into a conversation about negative beliefs and how they're not actually negative and how you can use them any way you want. But that's just probably me trying to be important again. So I'll save it for another day. I kind of like that thing where I was doing this is what I was doing. That was kind of a new beat that I learned today. Alright. I think it was over a long time ago this time. I did start this whole thing feeling pretty feeling pretty clammy, and I will admit that I'm feeling, I don't really know what I feel anymore, but it doesn't feel the same as it doesn't feel the same as it did before. But you know what, the really funny part that I learned about myself today, and it was one of those moments where you just sort of kind of look at how you react to a situation. You just sort of pat yourself on the back. And I noticed that when the negative thoughts just sort of creep in, and when all of the comparing, and why aren't you here, and why aren't you there, and why aren't you better, basically is what it's telling everyone, is what it's always telling us. Isn't what am I trying to say here? When those I discovered about myself that when I have those thoughts, rather than try to fight them, rather than try to, push them away or hide behind something, I caught myself being, actually kind of accepting it and wanting it, saying, please let me feel this, let me give you a hug, because I feel bad that you have to feel this way. It's kind of that, again, going back to that, looking at that little boy in the mirror sort of thing. I don't know. I'm going off on the deep end here, aren't I? What do I always do? I always kind of like, I always say, you're going off on the deep end when you start talking about something that makes at least me think that other people are going to think I'm crazy. But I'm constantly watching stuff with much crazier people online all day long. And then, of course, questioning whether I'm one of those crazy people because I'm watching one of the crazy things. And then I realize I'm just in this cycle of sort of beating myself up. And yet again, comparing myself to everyone, feeling just not good enough. And the truth is that I'm good enough, you're good enough, we're all good enough. And I just wish, if I'm being totally honest, I just wish, and I think we all feel this way, I just wish that I had a little proof that everyone was feeling the same way. I've got this sneaking suspicion that we're all just sort of dealing with the same crap in our own, and we've found our own like little unique ways of sort of dealing with it. But there's still that something, that says maybe it's something beautiful, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't really know what it is, but there is that thing that says, no, you're different. There's something just a little off about you, and here's all the reasons why. And it's that little thing that I've been trying to spend a little bit more time with in my life lately. I don't know. I'm going to turn the camera off now. I should have done that mic drop a long time ago.